Good morning, good morning. Welcome up and happy Friday. I hope everybody's having a good one today. It's a pretty wild trading day out there. Even already, yes, we've seen the market attempting to pop higher here this morning. We saw the CPI inflation data release. And it released well. We saw inflation year over year jump up to 3.3%, right in line with expectations. The market, though, likes it quite a bit. Moving up even more, up 0.26% today off of yesterday's close. The high of this morning extended up to around 682.50. I have 683, 685, 687, and 690 as resistances here whenever we get into the 680 to 690 range. How are we doing though? Jesse, Nair, Laws, Wes, Jack, Sharpie, Tangy Man, Manicured, Jake, Jason, good morning. Team Tom, Zachary, Almighty, KNMSO, Nikki, Zoidberg, Jesse, Dizzy. Good morning, Vietnam, Nikki says. For half a second, I almost asked if you were in Vietnam at the moment. Wow, Tesla's coming back. Up 1.1% today. We can see Tesla's trying to form a shorter term base now. That was a nasty sell-off again on Wednesday. Past couple days, though, starting to form support. Coming back pretty well at the moment. Palantir was disgusting the past 2 trading days. Today, at open here, it's breaking under the low again. Oh my gosh, this was a nasty move for Palantir. Massive sell-off came into play. Big break of support. 128.60. Palantir got spanked, Jake said. PLTR definitely did, down to 126.95 there. Spanked, I like that. I wish somebody would do that to Tesla back down. Bank of America, BAC. The banks have been roaring back to life with the market here as well. Yesterday, the banks did very good again. JP Morgan failed to break its range, though. It has clear resistance in the short term. It's just failing to materialize a move past there. It's a good jump, though, by JP Morgan yesterday and the day before. Microsoft. Whoa. Microsoft's on a short-term trend here. They reacted very strangely off this range the past couple days. It actually broke under, but you can see how whenever it popped back, it actually had a little confirmation touch off of it again. It's kind of funny. Interesting price action there. Ahmad says GM, General Motors. No, I'm kidding. Good morning. Looking at GM, though, up 0.12%. Ford. Hey, Ford actually broke its resistance. Nice. Keep it going, Ford. AMD Advanced Money Dispenser, Ahmad says in the chat. Whoa, AMD's on fire, 2.6% ripper here today. Looks very good off of the opening move so far. Look at the continuation of AMD on the daily. Very strong, very nice. Intel was on fire too. They had some news yesterday and the day before. 2 straight days of fantastic PA. 5-minute chart today, though, does not look the best. It'd be nice to break through pre-market. Well, pre-market support was close to 62, and then as it broke down, now it becomes resistance. I'm going to grab a drink of Gatorade. 1 sec. Losing my voice this morning. Too much yelling, I suppose. Just kidding. Is Tom sponsored by the Florida Gators? Your favorite drink is Gatorade. Yeah, it definitely is. Drink that more than anything, probably. Tessie holding its support. If Tesla breaks its intraday support today, that would be pretty worrying. It's held it from open. It's held it in pre-market. It held it yesterday at the end of the day. This is a clear zone for Tesla, and it's holding for now. So looking at it in a more of a bullish way until it truly shows me that it's going to break that dip down. SNDK is coming down off of its breakout. Let's see. Wow, yeah, it is. It's under yesterday's closing price now, even. It's too bad, because SNDK was on fire there again. We'll take AMD, though, in the chip space. How about, like, MU or MRVL? Looking at, like, smaller names here. Marvel's doing pretty good. Look at the daily of MRVL. Holy. It broke through 100 recently and just touched 128. Damn. Easy $50 on 5 Palantir puts. There you go. That's what we like, Tangi. Trading Palantir down again. Palantir's had another rough morning. The past 2 mornings in a row have been extremely brutal. Today, it's shaping up to be the same again, it looks like. Really rough for Palantir. If we look on like an hourly, you can see Palantir is holding its lower zone of support. It's actually testing it like right now as it's making these lows. Much more, if it falls under like 124.75, it's like an official break. Watch this zone very carefully. I know you asked for Bookmap on Meta. Maybe I'll have it. I really want to see it on Palantir, though. While Meta loads up, we're going to look at Palantir. Wow, yeah, a lot of buyers stacked up at 125. 132,000 shares, to be more specific. Let's zoom it in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, holding that buy wall very strongly. Here's Meta right now on the book map. Zoidberg. Story said, is Meta a good call? It could be today. It could be. Watch it to play out kind of like yesterday. Look at the price action yesterday morning. I would definitely try to enter in on some type of dip or turnover with the stock if you see one starting to take hold. It looks like it's having trouble at resistance right now. I don't love it at the moment. I don't love the setup, personally. You might see something that I'm not, but this is what I see. Go back to Meta one more time on the book map so I can get a little better look. Not a lot of buyers. None between 630 and 634.50. Very little. Mason said Artemis is supposed to come back today. There we go. Artemis. Is FLY moving again? Oh my word. Somehow it went green again today. But it did hold up at resistance, so we got to be a little careful. Eventually, this stock isn't going to keep ripping anymore. Seems like the uptrend is being tested this morning. If we see 37 breakdown, that would be a pretty bad sign for this one today. Coinbase, Alex asks. COIN. How is crypto? That's actually one market I did not even look at this morning. Bitcoin, very choppy here, but it's holding well above 70,000 since it got past. You can see it's range to the upside throughout the middle of this week. Definitely a big range, though. You know, we have the overhead, like, resistance zone. At the same time, there's pretty clear support. Very stuck in a big channel. Seems like right now it's moving down a little bit. SPY is starting to move back down as well. 1 minute chart pulling back. Good morning, Blazer. Zoidberg's actually short Meta today, really. META. Interesting. I kind of like that. I definitely like that over longing it at this moment. With resistance hitting here. Definitely doesn't have... I definitely don't have super confident outlook on Meta today. Palantir's past 125 now. Barely. I immediately came back, but yeah, it seems like the slide is continuing here. It got through 124. It did break through 124.75, which we were talking about, but it broke by 10 cents. So, And the only reason that we look it down at that level is because in this bottom zone here, Palantir did technically post a low of... Oh, it says 125? That can't be. It says a low of 125, but whenever you put it on the chart, it's... I guess it is at 125. Either way, though, we know the book map had a ton of buyers stacked up there. Let me show you what it looks like when it breaks. There you go. You can kind of see it in the middle of the screen, what it looks like with the big red volume dot. Seems like it's really struggling here at this zone. Just got real choppy. See if the low of the day breaks here. Ooh, there it goes. New low of the day achieved. Jane, welcome in today. It seems like the sentiment definitely changed on Meta, at least with some big players. That's what makes me curious about maybe getting in a bit lower. Palantir is continuing to fall off here. Been one of the better markets to trade lately. SPY seems very slow, very choppy down here in this range. How's gold and silver today? We did have the inflation data come out. GLD and SLV didn't really move much. But let's get into that inflation data a little bit more here. Check out the chart. Yeah, the year-over-year inflation rate ended up coming in pretty hot. Inflation jumped to 3.3%. in March of 2026 versus 2.4% in February. It went up 0.9% as expected. It didn't necessarily come in hotter or lower. Now, if we actually go and we look at the calendar here, you can see the core rate, right? The core inflation rate actually came in under expectations a little bit. And core excludes food and energy. So what it's showing is that the energy impact was definitely felt throughout the month of March. Besides that, though, inflation isn't really out of the control too bad. Only went up 0.1%. That's pretty negligible. For those of you that don't know, core inflation excludes food and energy. That's why we saw the year-over-year normal inflation rate jump so much, because it includes the energy, like higher gas prices, but the core does not. I'm sure most of you know that, but you don't know until you know. Isn't that right? One of my favorite terms. You don't know till you know. How wild. Nice jump for SMCI, Jake says. Really? Super micro up today? Whoa, up a lot, 7.24%. Actually, almost leading my watch list, almost. Critical metals moving. CRML, 10.95%. APLD, following along too, 9.27%. Some of these stocks have some fantastic breakouts going on today. USAR is looking good. I'm sure Tangy Man's happy with some of these today. UEC's even up 3% or so. U. Getting it done. I'm sure URA is moving too. Yep. Back to AMD we go. Is it keeping it going? It did for a while there. Slowed up a little bit on the 1 minute. Just a little bit here. But yeah, up around 5% on Advanced Money Dispenser. Ooh, AMD just got close to $250 per share here. That's going to be important to keep looking at. Mason with the Biggie reference. That's funny. Good thing you didn't include the final lyric there. Let's go see Navitas. NVTS. Not the best. I mean, it's up 3%, but really holding its ground and not ripping as much as I would have thought. ARM, 6% and actually moving. ARM looks quite well here at the moment. IREN up 6% too. A lot of growth stock action today. MP Materials up over 5%. Yeah. A lot of action out here. Just not with the stocks that we want. I'm sure some of you guys love these, but... Looking at Mag 7. Nvidia's up 2%. I guess that's one I haven't looked at too hard today. I should have with all the chip stocks moving. Looks awesome, though. That's helping to apply some pressure onto SPY right now. SPY had pulled back, but it's starting to recover now. Navitas may become my new red cat. You can't replace our cat with anything. Get out of here. Yeah, our cat's getting a little weak looking in the short term, unfortunately. But yeah, Navitas, NVTS, and then Nebius, NBIS, are two that really interest me. NBIS has been fantastic in the short term. We keep hitting on that as momentum plays, and it is great. Nebius up above 138. That was great move today. Sorry, guys, had to grab a quick drink again. Dr. Zoidberg said, how do you feel about Trump's smoke and mirrors and the whole situation this weekend? Yeah, so the situation this weekend is starting to develop more and more. Like, we start to hear, like, what the U.S. is, kind of intending with it. What they want done. Certain aspects of these negotiations are starting to unfold. I saw somebody post a minute ago, Mason did. Shout out to Mason. He said U.S. Negotiators to ask Iran to release detained Americans. So that's definitely one. Not today, Nikki, not today. I try to only have like a couple of those things a week. Although, granted, the Gatorade's probably worse. It's... Nebius on fire. Let's go look at Navitas, NVTS, on the daily chart. I want to show you guys the strength of Navitas' uptrend. Oh my word. It's just insane how Navitas holds this line yet and yet again. It kind of seemed like the line was giving out a few days ago, but we never really got that good confirmation candle through. Every time that there's an extension to this line or it slightly goes through, there's like an immediate recovery the next day. Every time. And as we look at it right now, look at how Navitas just gapped up here. That's actually a really bullish sign. I would not be surprised if Navitas tried to test the recent resistance here around at least $11. Now, the big threat is if the whole market tanks this weekend or something, then it is what it is, right? You can't help certain political aspects or black swan events, but the setup is there right now. Very consistent on this trend, and whenever it touches and does bounce in a good way, it's gotten close to that 11 mark just about every time. Zoidberg says, it's time for Zuck to be punished. With Meta? Zuckerberg used to kind of not be my favorite. I'm going to be honest. Zuckerberg used to bother me a bit. You know, back whenever he was seen as like a robot or just like a, you know, emotionless AI character. But now, you know, it seems like he did like an about face like sometime around COVID. And that like about face that he did was pretty good. I know he did like, you know, waterboarding and like got his own like ranch to make steaks and was gonna fight Elon Musk. that was probably the last big one with him. But I don't know, I've been coming around to Zuckerberg a bit more. They cloned and replaced him, Sharpie said. That would be hilarious. Tom, any idea why there's so much selling pressure on LLY? It's had a lot of great news the past couple days. That's what I thought. I thought the same thing. The one thing that I'll tell you is that you don't necessarily just have to have the market continuing to rip up just because there's news, Nair. I know that it seems like that would be how it works, but we have to remember that these setups take time to play out, and there is going to be some red days and chop mixed in. Even look right here, how they ripped for 2 great days, but then guess what followed? Like an immediate time of consolidation before it ultimately ripped. Honestly, LLY could just be like making a move like this and then just go boop right to the upside after a couple days. See it happen all the time. Now you might ask, what is pushing it down there or keeping it from going down? There's a lot of possible answers there. But as I look at LLY, the overall setup has been interesting lately, right? You know, we're starting to get like a bit of recovery, a bit more optimism coming in. There has been some good news, and the stock reacted pretty well. Definitely not reacting like as well as I would have thought either, though. I'm with you. I would have thought that it would have moved up a lot more. What I will say, though, is that the stock is at big resistance, and we have to respect the charts. Have to respect the charts. Big resistance. I'm trying to find like a good uptrend here on this stock. Here we go. Here's kind of like a situation, kind of like we're at now. You know, the stock had, now this is a little different, but LLY had a great gap up and great movement off of good earnings and good news there. But look at how the stock actually ended up falling for 2 days before it ended up ripping, right? It had that little bit of consolidation. And as options traders out there, like let's say that you were trading LLY to the upside and now it's down and you're kind of frustrated. I think that's something else that you can do. And I'm not just saying it to you, Nair, just in general, like to anybody here. But if you're looking at something like LLY and you're expecting it to go up, having more time than not is always very helpful because sometimes it just takes a while to play out. Kind of like right here. You know, like obviously the uptrend continued and it was great, but you know, consolidated for a long time before that eventually happened, even though there was, you know, kind of good news already helping to push it higher. Big thing with LLY is going to be seeing how all this competition plays out. Who's the other big boy there? NVO. NVO's been getting crushed. Well under support. I sold all my QQQ calls this morning at open and bought Intel calls. You did. You sold your QQQs and bought some Intel. Intel is getting pretty high. So is QQQ in the short term. Honestly, tough call. At least Intel is continuing to run, though. I'll give it that. A lot stronger than the QQQ, so I don't blame you. As I look at SPY and QQQ, I'm definitely prepared for a slowdown or a time of consolidation here with the SPY. I don't necessarily think it's just going to explode up today. If it does, hey, that's awesome for the long terms. Let's let it happen. But got to be a little wary and careful. Yes, sir. New price target from 57 to 76, Call Life said. Yeah. That's great. I love that. With the call targets, or with the targets shifting to the upside on Intel. Let me look at the news. Who did it? TD Cohen adjusted their price target to 60 from 50. Benchmark adjusted theirs on Intel to 76 from 57. That must be the one that you were looking at. That is that's great. I love seeing that. It doesn't mean that it has to get there though. If Intel starts falling, then they're just going to lower their target. So but hey, we'll take this action. This is awesome. Intel's had a great time since the lows of 2025, around 1750, all the way up to $62 here. 254% from Intel. Wow. And it followed this trend line beautifully on the way up, actually. Look at that. Holy shit. Anyone that caught that trend line bounce is happier than I don't know. It's happy. Happier than a fat kid at Steak and Shake. I don't know. That is a really good bounce back to the upside there. A little bit, Zoidberg. Probably like, it's very close to 10% essentially of the position left. Big support on Tesla. Watch for 345 to break down. Starting to test intraday. It might get lower again. Tesla has had some weakness. It's been really failing to break back out here. Even though it bounced off support and moved up yesterday, that was a great move up. Now it's at 350 resistance and just really is failing. It's an interesting time for Tesla. Very weak lately. Callie says, yeah, something big is still coming, I feel. It looks really healthy. It's checking off all my checks. Like it, Callie. The only slight negative is just that it's just up so much in the short term. That's the only slight negative. It doesn't mean it has to tank or anything, but, you know, it is pretty high. It's getting so high that, you know, I'm a bit worried that, like, we might see something like this happen. Just try not to get shaken out. You know, you have to have a good long-term outlook on it. Or cut fast, one or the other, if it does occur. yeah, right now the momentum's there, so. Wow, talk about momentum. Palantir still moving lower, well under 125 now. Way down under. I might just hold until Monday. Let's go back to Tessie really quick. Oh, very flat, not under support. I thought maybe we'd come back and it would be down under support there, but nope, it's holding that intraday support. It's now triple bottom there since open. It's like quintuple bottom there since the end of the day yesterday. Holy shit. Talk about reactions. I know some people like to play these small scalps like this. It's not bad. Let's go check on something here. IGV. VIX continues to drop, Jake said. VIX. Yeah, it really is. It broke its uptrend, too. I think that what Trump's been doing lately is just really showing people that there's going to be some confidence that he wants this to get done. Now, I'm not sure if there's still going to be a random trick up somebody's sleeve or anything like that, so you never know. But definitely something that I've been looking at for sure. Ooh, I wouldn't do it, Nikki. Stay away from 0 DTEs. There's like literally no reason for that. If you're going to get direction correctly, I mean, there's no reason to use that and put the risk like way against you. Just go with like a week out. You know, you can still catch like a good 30%er. You don't have to get like a 300%er off of something that's like $10 a contract or something, right? Oh yeah, way too risky. Yeah, let's do a poll on that. I'd actually be really curious. That's a really good poll. Zachary, though, coming in clutch. Thank you, Zachary. He said, thanks for everything you guys do. It's stocked up. Let's go. Appreciate you, Zachary. Love that. The poll. Do you actively trade 0 DTE options? Okay. Let's see what the vote comes out to. Do you actively trade 0 DTE options? You can say, yes, I do. No, they're too risky, or very rarely. I'm curious to see what you guys vote for. Get that vote in. Elite. That would have been perfect. Haha, Mixel. Steve says, actively getting wrecked on 0 DTEs right now. Yeah, on 0 DTEs, if the direction goes against you, you have to get out fast. Fast. If you bag hold 0 DTEs, you are going to get crushed. It's just how it's going to be. SPY's bouncing off 680, though, holding the downtrend that we plotted from last night. Very interesting here. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. It's not holding that downtrend. The downtrend was messed up on TradingView's chart. It's moving up well, though. You know, still trying to climb, it seems like. Very interesting. It's slow, though. Very slow back up. Seems like we got a good hit a few minutes ago. Maybe some news hit. I'm going to check the headlines. University of Michigan sentiment crashes to lowest on record as war sparks inflation panic amongst Democrats. That's the headline. Wow. Now that's a pretty big thing. 1 year inflation expectation rises 4.8%. It was only expected to be 4.2%. $41 votes. Hell yeah, get it going. Zachary says, I will trade small with the 1 DTE on SPY somewhat regularly, just because the options prices are lower. Yeah. So you're giving up the quality of the option to trade something cheaper that will move more. Yeah, I'm not I used to do that, guys, back whenever I was newer. Within my first couple of years of learning options, I used to try that a lot, and it never really worked for me. I know some people like it and it works for them, but it's not the way I like to go. And the one thing that I don't like is that the entire, let's say, premise to trade is at the end of the day, right, to profit. It's okay if I only get, let's say, 30% over like 120%er, right? As long as you're winning more, right? Now, if you're getting the 120%ers, like often, you're probably getting a bit risky. As in trading things that are very volatile, very risky. Obviously in options, that number could go up significantly, but we know, there's a trade-off with everything, right? Most people in the Discord that I've seen do 0 DTEs over the years end up getting really chopped up. I would probably put it at like a number of 97% of people I've seen doing it. It's a pretty high one. SPY moving up 681.40 though, actively trying to pop still. Your average ROR is 80%. Okay. But hey, just vote up however you do it, which is totally fine. I just want to get a gauge on how many of you guys do it. Don't feel bashful if you do. Get those votes in. Yeah. That's the one problem that I've seen, Gonzalez. I think, like, once you get to the point of having, like, I don't know exactly, like, where the perfect number would be, but I would think that, like, once you get to, like, a $10,000 account size, you know, you can start, like, branching out a lot more. But for those of you that have, like, a lot smaller of accounts, I understand that frustration, I guess. You know, it's hard to trade SPY options that cost, you know, $1,200 or something similar. Now, one thing that you could do is you could start to look at spreads, right? If you wanted to. Now, this will cap your gains a bit, but it'll make it a lot safer to trade. You could trade spreads. Like, if you were bullish, you could go out 1 week and you could buy a call option and then sell a call option that's out of the money and create a call debit spread. And if you think that it costs, let's say, $1,200, right, for your initial entry, you're like, oh my God, Tom, that's way too much for me. It makes no sense for me to enter something like that. And I get it, right? It's a reality that many people face. One thing that you could do is whenever you sell that call option that's out of the money, let's say that the SPY, the call that you're longing costs $1,200 and the one that you're selling costs $700, right? Now you take the difference between both of those. So now the spread costs $500 to enter. And you can work that out to make it even smaller as well. Now, like I said, you do cap your upside whenever you do this. And there's some math involved to do that. But if you set something like that up on Robinhood or on some platforms, you'll see the examples that come through. If you're having trouble with that, and let's say that, you know, you're doing 0 DTEs just because of having the problems, you know, try going maybe to like level 2 options and just see how it works for you. Never hurts to do a couple paper trades. No, Gonzalez, it does have a cap because it's tied to your call that you're longing. That's what's going on. If you sold it naked, then yeah, it would theoretically not be capped, and you could get wiped out pretty easily. I've seen a lot of people do that, but since it's tied to your other call, it's not. At that point, it's not. Because your other call, like, let's say that the stock explodes, your other call that you're longed is going to make a shit ton of money. And the one that you're short is just going to decay to 0. Well, it'll move up too, to a certain point. But if it doesn't, you know, go your way, then that one will decay to 0. And you'll start to profit from the shorted one while your long call dies. You know, and vice versa. And you can also, what I like to do is I like to use share positions and sell covered calls. And it's specifically called covered calls because you'll short a call that's tied to your shares. This means that you don't necessarily again, it's not uncapped to the upside. It makes it capped at to some degree. Simply, you'll have to let go of your shares up there. But if you do let go of the shares, number one, you could always buy them back, and then number two, you you always try to do it generally whenever you're selling in the profit. So you'll be pretty happy with the profits either way. I don't trade SPY because of the cost, KNMSO said. Yep. And hey, that's probably a good decision. Rather than, you know, forcing it and then making risk too high. Hey, Tom, what do you think of RVI? Never heard of it. Let's turn it on. Robinhood Ventures Fund. Oh, boy. It's a private equity venture fund. Robinhood IPO'd last month. Own a decent bit of shares as a 3 to 5 year hold. Figured I'd ask your thoughts. Wow, I didn't even know that this one IPO'd, Elite. I wish I had better information to give you on this one. Unfortunately, it's going to really depend on, you know, what the holdings are and what they're doing. Damn. Sorry about that, but yeah, that's interesting. Let's see what they do. Let's see what kind of companies that are in there. Come on. Okay, here we go. Databricks, Mercor, Ramp, Airwallex, Boom, and Aura are in there. They actually had, like, Robinhood actually has a video about this kicking off. Let's, oh, it's 30 minutes? Oh, man.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. No, I really appreciate you letting me know. I know you're letting in just a few people into the round. No.
Yeah, that's kind of strange, but I guess I'm not going to watch Vlad talk about that for 25 minutes. Interesting. So private companies, of course, but I've never really like heard about many of them that are in there, unfortunately. Oh, Revolut in there too. Okay. 20% cash reserves. I have heard of Databricks. Anytime exit with 0 fees is a first in private equity. Oh, wow. Wow, so they're doing something new. Speaking of that, how's Hood been doing? Oh, man. The Hood has still been getting crushed. Robinhood. Pulling back very hard lately. Palantir, too. PLTR. Oh, wow, they bounced back, though, intraday. What is that? Did Palantir just get some news? Oh, my God. Trump just talked about Palantir. Oh, shit. Trump just said Palantir is proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment on Truth Social. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Palantir bouncing back. Trump told Barron to buy some call options right before that. That's pretty big. Trump talked about Palantir. It ripped. I knew there had to be some news there because that was a pretty massive reversal on an intraday basis. I was not expecting to see that, though. He said, Palantir Technologies has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemies. Trump had a tense phone call with Netanyahu before Israel announced it would hold talks with Lebanon, CNN reported today. Smixel says, Trump basically said, F you, Burry. Yeah, Burry's going to be upset. Burry's going to sue him. No, I'm kidding. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe he will. But I was kind of kidding. Calvin said he can't keep getting away with this. What did he do? I guess Trump just needs to go hide himself in a dark room and never come out. Because anything he does moves the market, especially if he talks about a business or something. The one big one that happened recently was Intel. Intel was a big one with Trump. All that lip Bhutan nonsense around the end of 2025 really got Intel pumping up, and government deals with Intel, and I think the government owns, what, 20% of Intel or something technically now? It's a high number. He needs to mention my stocks too. I'm waiting for him to mention UMAC because Trump Jr. is like the third largest shareholder of UMAC, the drone stock, Unusual Machines. If we see something mentioned with that, I mean, then that could really get explosive. But given that Trump Jr. is the third largest shareholder here, I think it's pretty insane. Software is really continuing to get crushed. Oh, some news came out about the talks going on this weekend. Experts from the NSC, State Department, and Defense Department are part of the U.S. delegation to Islamabad, sorry. Trump already took JP's title as market mover. Oh, 100%. 100%. While Biden was president, it was almost like Jerome Powell was like the leader. It's kind of I'm not saying like the leader, but like the market leader, right? Ooh. Zoidberg said they lost 13K on UMAC. What? How? Oh my gosh. I don't know how big the account is, but that seems like a pretty large loss for one trade. Be careful with the position sizing there. The next time it starts to go on a little ripper, though, it'll be fun to join in on the action. A few weeks ago it was? Yeah. That was a big pullback a few weeks ago. I could see how it could happen, but wow. Spy, quick dump, Mason just said. Really? Oh, yeah, it did. Little drop off there, and there's not really much news hitting at the moment. Yeah, Spy did have a big drop. Intel is fading down now intraday. And it's actually forming a bit of a channel as it's falling. Let's see if the channel, like, lines up really well. That's not great. It doesn't line up perfect, but you kind of get the point of what Intel's doing right now. Mixel said, UMAC rocketing Monday is Trump ambushing the weekend meetup again. That would be wild, wouldn't it? I've been a little bit worried about that happening, Mixel. I know you said you were kidding, but I'm kind of not. You never know what's going to happen. It's always good to add on the kiddings at the end, though. Trust me. People take it out of context. Saudi Satorp station shut down after an attack. Up and away just posted. That could be what's starting to hit the market a bit. I would think that there was news tied to that candle, though. Ah, here we go. Now I found it. Walter Bloomberg. Iran's parliament speaker says ceasefire in Lebanon, release of Irani blocked assets must occur before talks. I figured we would see something start hitting. Zero Hedge and Bloomberg both posted it. Go check on PLTR fading back down after Trump's comment. Check on that SPY move. SPY is just so reactionary to these headlines right now. It's insane. It's almost like you have to just get lucky on if the headline is going to help you or not, if you're trading the SPY. Literally, that's just how it is. Now, the one thing that I could see starting to happen today, which actually happened a couple of days ago on, what day was this? Wednesday. On Wednesday, we had that great news, that pushed the market higher and broke the overall downtrend, where Trump pretty much said that they were going to do the 2-week ceasefire and everything with that. But the next day, the market actually had a bad intraday move. And a lot of that was because the negotiation talks started to deteriorate a bit. People were, for example, making demands at the same time. Iran still sent drones into the UAE apparently. Also, Israel kept striking in Lebanon and they were pissed about that. So it was just a big back and forth of, I thought we had a ceasefire, but we're still shooting. See, and right now, I'm starting to wonder that we start to see the SPY deteriorate a bit more as we head into the end of the day and more headlines, kind of like what I just said, taking place. Like Iran's parliament speaker saying that ceasefire in Lebanon and release of Iranian blocked assets must occur before the negotiations. He said 2 of the steps mutually agreed upon between the groups have yet to be implemented. Ooh. YouTube Premium and YouTube Music is raising their prices. They're going to have YouTube Premium Lite. What? Lite? Hell, I have YouTube Premium. I have YouTube TV. I'm kind of surprised that there's no adult YouTube yet, honestly. They did it again last year too. Oh, I love YouTube Premium, Zachary. It's a must-have. I actually ran the math, and each year I was wasting now, this doesn't mean I was wasting, because a lot of times, YouTube just runs in the background or something, but I mean, it was hundreds of hours a year on watching ads. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Or approaching hundreds of hours. Yeah, but you still have to watch them on YouTube, right, KNMSO? Yeah, it's going up like $2 or $3 a month. It's not too bad, but maybe it'll help Google make some money. Who knows? YouTube at night. That's kind of cool, Steven. Does that work, KNMSO? They're a minute long and non-skippable. YT gone wild. Oh, gosh. That's not quite what I meant, but I see now how you guys could have gotten that from what I said. Oh, that's good, KNMSO. Yeah, I might have to try to find something like that. I figured on YouTube it would still make you watch the video ads, but I don't know if they somehow block them. That's the way to go. Oh yeah, did CEO Mixel? I still have lots of streaming subscriptions, of course, but, you know, between YouTube TV and just YouTube itself, that's like really all I need. I don't really watch or stream anything on anything else. The only thing that I like to watch is I watch Next Level Chef. That's the only show. Speaking of like shows and movies and all of that jazz, television, Paramount Skydance was doing really well earlier this week. Unfortunately, they slowed down a lot, but PSKY was on fire. It's going to be an interesting one to watch for next week to see if it continues or not. Mason says, spy, move, do anything. It really is stuck today, isn't it? Like, you zoom in on a 1 minute, obviously it's moved a little, but oh gosh, another flat, choppy day here. It's just waiting for a big headline, Mason, that's all. Yeah, exactly, Zachary. I have MLB TV. And then that's all I need, too. But granted, I do have all the others. Like, I have Netflix, I have Disney, I have Paramount. I have, like, all of them, but I only use, like, 3. The rest are for the kids and my fiance. Jane says they have Xbox and Netflix. Netflix. They've been pretty low in the short term, haven't they? Oh, no, they've been coming back. Sorry. I'm just thinking about when they were at $80. That was nasty. They're still down there in my mind, apparently. Low of the day around 101.50 on Netflix. It did turn over a bit. Looks more negative than not. Nvidia. Still putting on a show. Trying to push the high of the day to go up again. Look at Intel actually got out of its little downtrend here. Let's see if we see Intel actually start to try to make a secondary move. This is a good sign. Doesn't mean the channel has to play, though. What is that, KNMSO? How would that work? Like a local streaming server. What does that mean? Could you have like everything like Netflix and stuff on there? That's pretty cool. Nebius just doubled since February. Crazy. IREN who? Nebius. Yeah, Nebius is on fire. It has been extremely hot lately. We've been looking at it on the nightly videos like non-stop, and almost every day it's been breaking through the highs and continuing to rip. IREN's trying to come back too. It might not be a bad buy the dip. Oh, gotcha, Theta. You know, I have all these people that I know, then they always use these, they have like hacked like Amazon Fire Sticks or something. And they're able to like watch anything that they want and stream anything and do anything for like, I think they paid like $300 for them. I don't do that, but like you said, it's probably illegal. So, but I have heard of that. Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes sense, KNMSO. I wonder, like, if somehow the streaming services could crack down on that, it would probably help Netflix stock a lot. I would like to see that happen for their stock sake. Disney. DIS. One that's been extremely low in the short term, too. Look at how Disney actually filled the gap on the daily chart. It filled the gap right to like 93 to 92. That was a good gap fill. I would love for it to get back down to like 80. You might not see it do it, but I would love for it to get down into that bottom range. If it does go in the lower range and bounce again, this is going to be like one of the most consistent channels that I've ever seen on a stock. If it bounces off the lower end again. This channel has been, I guess it got really close, honestly. But this channel has just been wild. It's been like a 3-year plus channel with multiple bounces on the bottom. Like multiple. And multiple hits on the top. Like 6 hits It's pretty wild how consistent this one's been. We'll kind of do it like this. That's like the upper zone, and then we have our like lower zone. They have a new what? A new Mickey Mouse running Disney now. Mickey Mouse 2.0. Disney's been doing a lot of shakeups with their CEOs. I know that the old CEO, I think Iger, came back in, and now Iger left again. Elite. It's pretty funny. In the cryogenic freezer. Man, SPY's still stuck in the range, guys. Just doing nothing again. Unfortunately, sorry for that. Wish it was a more exciting end of the week on the SPY front. Let's go back to the growth stocks, which were moving like crazy this morning. CoreWeave. CoreWeave's up 14%. Oh my gosh. Really kept ripping. Nebius. Another fun one from today. UMAC. Now up 7%. I just asked for a guy to do a quote to demolish a building of mine, and he recognized my business and offered to do it in exchange for a website. Hey, there you go. Trading goods and services. Tangy Man, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Tangy, coming in with the 10 spot. Ooh, it's Big Mac Day now.
All right, all right, all right.
Love it, Tangy. Thank you, sir. He said, smash the like button for extra profits, too. We need a fine print for that. Let's check on, like, these material stocks. Yeah, a lot of them pulled back. Like, NP Materials was ripping earlier. CRML was also ripping. But they're pulling back now. Where's Navitas on here? Oh, there they are. Barely at the top. Got very slow as well. Tangy Man said, all my friends eat when I win. Love it, Tangy. What were you playing today? Or what'd you take some dubs on? That's awesome. Johnny said, what platform do you guys trade on? And do you ever post stuff up? No, not like that. But we do, Thinkorswim is the main platform that I like to run. Of course, I have accounts on a few of them, but Thinkorswim is one of the main ones. A lot of trading that we do is selling options, right? Selling them to open, especially on like longer term positions, and running multiple strategies, of course, but that's the bread and butter, so to say. Chain's permanently banned from Thinkorswim for overdrafting $20. I'm surprised that they let you do that. You would think that they would have stuff in place so that you weren't allowed to overdraft. Let's go see Palantir again. Still not getting the positivity or love back after that initial dip it had. Yeah, that's wild, Jane. I've never heard of that. You're the only one I've ever heard of that on there, but no, you can't link Thinkorswim with TradingView, Johnny. But Johnny, Thinkorswim lets you place a lot of different orders that other brokers might not let you place. Like on Robinhood, for example, I don't think that you can even do trailing stop losses on options or spreads, at least. And on Thinkorswim, there's a lot of order customability that is really helpful for options traders, especially if you're getting more advanced with it, right? There's also a lot more information on the Thinkorswim charts related to options, like the options chain. Whoa, what the hell kind of volume just hit there on Amazon? But the options chain is a lot more complex, and then also you can just customize it way more. Now, other brokers have similar... Oh my gosh, sorry guys. Other brokers, though, have similar order capabilities, like let's say TradeStation and maybe Interactive Brokers. But those are two other really good platforms too. But whenever you compare Thinkorswim to something like Robinhood or Webull or something like that, it has a lot more features on that side. But you can't connect it to TradingView either. And I'll let you know some reason why you might not want to do that. You could connect other brokers to TradingView, and while that can be good, let me see what it does. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. You do Moomoo on here, Interactive Brokers, NinjaTrader, Tradeovate, Webull, Tasty Trade even. Tradier, that's another popular one. But yeah, there's a few options. The reason why I don't like that is because you're then connecting your broker to TradingView. There could always be some issues between, let's say TradingView and your broker. Like, let's say TradingView is getting overloaded and their servers are shitty at the moment, or something's going on, right? It might not send your trades like to Thinkorswim to be placed, or send them to like Webull or whoever you're using, right? So I always prefer to just look at TradingView and then trade on a separate screen. So like I use multiple monitors, right? Like I have a little box like on one of my monitors, like where you can like place trades essentially. And that's really like, I think how most people should set it up. Now, if you're on one single screen, it can be annoying going back and forth. So something else that I like to do is sometimes, like, let's say that I'm somewhere where I only have my laptop, right? And that's all I have access to. I'll actually place the trades on the phone, but use the computer for the charts, for example. That's another way to do it as well. But the data lag, and I like how Tangy Man called it that, the data lag can really screw you up there if it does happen. Now, again, it's not going to happen like every time, but you'll probably run into it eventually. Someone help Tom. Thoughts and prayers. Yeah, sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. I'm really surprised that, like, we never see that happen to Trump or somebody. Like, he's talking and just randomly starts, like, having a little cough for a second or something. Obviously, you're trying not to when you're doing things like that, but might, I'm always surprised because, you know, sometimes he'd be going on and on forever. Yeah, exactly, Jane. Yeah, forever. There's quants that make money just off of data lag. Absolutely wild strategy of skimming pennies for millions. Oh, yeah. Yep. Those get very complex, too. Johnny said, so you do more than 20 options plays at the time? No, not really. I don't know where we got that from. KNMSO says, do you know how Interactive Brokers is? I'm kind of thinking of going to them so I can do futures and trade in TradingView. Yeah, you know, I don't know how good it is connecting Interactive Brokers to TradingView, but Interactive Brokers themselves is a great platform, KNMSO. They have good support as well. It's another one that I put up there with Thinkorswim, if not even slightly maybe like ahead of Thinkorswim in some capacities. But yeah, I put it up there. I always say this: TradeStation, Thinkorswim, and Interactive Brokers. It's really hard to go wrong with either one of those three. All three have very, very similar platforms, very similar order customization, very similar like data and like flow analysis that you can look at, amongst just tons of other features too. But it's hard to go wrong with those three. That's like my Mount Rushmore of trading platforms for the majority of people. 1 second, guys. Sorry. What a morning it's been, though. Very slow for the market. Only fun for a few minutes there with some of these chip stocks. Looks like Nvidia is still doing great, though. Up over 3% right now. That's good to see. That's really good to see. Interest on margin at IBKR is really low compared to what I'm paying at Fidelity. That is one of the big reasons why people really like Interactive Brokers KNMSO. They have a lot less fees on that side. Yes, that is a big one. I've seen that's over the years when I see people transition from one broker over to Interactive Brokers, that's almost the entire reason why, KNMSO. Almost every time that I've seen that, it's been because of that exact reason. The interest on margin being really low. Especially if you trade a lot, you might even be able to get it lower. Excuse me. That was weird. I love the strategies account they have, though, not gonna lie. Elite goes, it's okay, Robinhood. I'm here for you. You guys have probably heard my Robinhood rant enough. I won't make you guys listen to that again. You know what they say about trading on Robinhood?
60% of the time, it works every time.
That's the truth. Yeah, I believe so, Ken Coded. They keep changing it over the years. I think it might be like a very, very, very small fee, Ken Coded. Really, like if a dollar per trade is hurting you that bad, number one, you're probably over trading, and number two, you're not going for enough gains. Poet is up like 13% today, Tangy Man says. P-O-E-T. I'm glad to see QQQ moving up well. But yeah, Poet is up 13%. Poet Technologies, they've been down in the dumps recently. It's been an interesting setup. Very interesting with this one. How's Next looking today, J-Bass says. Next had been pulling back. Yeah, still pulling back again today. Now it's holding its ground. right now. NEXT is holding its ground here as it pulls back. The big thing with next is going to be to really make sure that you have the wiggle room here. If you're not already out and you didn't take profits yet, you know, this support zone is pretty huge coming up on next. Right around $6.50. You know, you could be seeing a pretty hard L at that point as it starts to hit 650. But it's going to be a zone that you're going to want to watch for. You're not going to want that zone to give out. If it holds, that's still a good sign, and it could easily come back before October. No problem if it holds that zone. But we really need it to hold and continue this uptrend here. Right now, it's just in it's in a chop zone. Chopping around, and what you have to do now is be able to withstand the chop for the ultimate bigger move if you didn't already take profits. The question is, you know, how long will it chop for? Yeah, that's the $1 million question. I got trailed out of next yesterday. Fun couple of weeks. Awesome. I like it though. Trailing helped you out there. That's great to hear. But alrighty, guys, it's getting to that time of the stream where we're going to be calling it here, and I want to see how you guys voted. It looks like, do you actively trade 0 DTE options? 72 votes in the poll. 44% of you said no, it's too risky, but 35% said yes, I do. And 21% voted for very rarely. Wow, so quite a bit of you do trade them. 35%, that's like, you know, just over a third. Just over a third. Like I said, guys, about, I would say 95 to 98% of people that I've dealt with over the years who try to run 0 DTEs get chopped out and end up switching their strategy. Not trying to say that you have to change, but, you know, maybe think about it if it's not working out. But okay, guys, I'll talk to you later. Let's have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys. Have a great one. Have a great weekend. Get out there and get rested. It's going to be a big week next week coming up off of these negotiations with Iran, where the action's going to get wild. Is the spy going to keep shooting, or is it going to ultimately pull back? Hard to say. I guess we'll see if the negotiations go well or not. Based off of what Iran said today, it didn't sound very promising, but yeah, it's actually been 7 green days in a row, Jake. In a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Today will be 8. 8 in a row. See you guys.